this is Zira, and welcome to another video, and welcome to another Hermitcraft Season Clockwork episode. We are in the process of episode 9, and we are going to see, we probably will definitely see the end of the story, and move on to the next one. If you haven't read any of the other chapters, be sure you do so, because spoilers, and if you feel like it, you can listen to hours of me talking as I read the other stories in this crazy Clockwork Chronicles series. Oh, yeah. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? You don't have to, but you can. Episode 8. Chapter 8. Episode 9, Chapter 8. Ugh, I can't have my feet like that. Scar followed Green on to the top of the stairwell, Mumbo just behind them. He could see a light up ahead, hearing faint sounds from below. They had a little bit of a head start, but he wasn't sure how long it would last. Light finally poured into the hallway upstairs as the hatch was opened the entire way as the YouTubers climbed out of the darkness, one by one. Where exactly are we heading next? Green asked simply, his eyes scanning the surrounding area cautiously. They were all on their own. No calls around to help them. Much too easy of a target to Mr. A's men. Had this been their plan the whole time? I'm honestly not sure, Mumbo replied with a frown. We could head to another hermit, but I think it's better if we try to lose the pursuers we do have first. Scar nodded its head, along with Green, looking up to the sky, still dark, but slowly breaking into early morning. He'd hardly gotten any sleep. Probably they all hadn't. It had been a long night, and he wondered if all of this would continue on into the day. As he thought this through, he could hear a faint sound in the distance. It was hard to pick up at first, but it steadily grew louder and louder, piquing his curiosity. Do you guys hear that? Scar pointed out cautiously, staring up at the sky, recognizing that sound very well. It wasn't like they hadn't been attacked by the helicopter before. We should hide, Green said quickly, as soon as he realized what Scar had meant. None of them argued as they slipped into the trees, trying their best to be quiet as the machine roared ever so closer. They're not going to find us in here, are they? Scar asked carefully, stepping over a twig gingerly as he followed his fence. Hard to tell, Mumbo said thoughtfully. I don't want to be here to find out, though. Neither do I, Green admitted honestly. There's not many hiding spots here. I'm going to try to blend in, Scar said quietly. Or maybe we can try to find a bargain? Unlikely, Green stated. Right, Scar replied. Worst comes to worst, we could just hope someone can intervene. I have an idea, Mumbo said a little more cheerfully. Two YouTubers turned towards him, Scar intrigued by what he said. I just need you guys to give me some time to set it up. Okay, how much time? Green asked, looking up at the sky. The helicopter was almost right on them. Could they see them from down here in the trees? Would they be able to get to them from up there? I'm not sure, Mumbo admitted, a bit. Well, now might be a good time to start, Green stated matter-of-factly. On it, the YouTuber replied, slipping away into the bushes and disappearing from view. Sure you'll be okay on his own? Scar whispered to Green. After me, he should be fine. I hope. Green swallowed. They looked up as ropes fell out of the machine and hung only a few inches off the tree trunks as a dozen men pulled themselves down, landing on the ground with a mighty jump. Scar pushed Green behind him as he stood firm, seeing the men watching them intently, as if waiting for something. Finally, one of them stepped forward. Did you really think you could get away from us that easily, YouTuber? The man finally asked as he arched an eyebrow precariously. We still haven't been captured yet, either. So, now have we? Scar said simply. We could easily just run off, for all you know, or enter away, or fly? The man answered with a laugh. Flying would be your worst mistake. If you try to make a move to escape, the helicopter will fire down its worst. And I highly doubt you'll be able to get out of that one without someone getting seriously hurt. Or even killed. What do you want? Scar asked, tilting his head, knowing full well what they wanted. You know exactly what we want, YouTuber, the man said smoothly. If you and your friend there surrender to us, no one will need to get hurt. And you'll shoot us down if we decline? The YouTuber asked. No, we'll shoot you down if you try to escape, the man said firmly. There's a difference. Well, we're obviously not going to just stand here and let you capture us either, Scar pointed out. Not without a fight. Ah, yes, the man nodded slowly. Even though you're outnumbered majorly? It's not impossible, Scar said with a shrug. What are you doing, Scar? Scar whispered from behind him. What do you think I'm doing? Scar retorted with a wink. Green didn't answer. There was no need to. How about this? The man replied with a scowl. I'll give you 3 seconds to change your mind. Otherwise, I'll have my men here to make their move. You are coming with us, whether you like it or not. I don't think we will, Scott said confidently, taking a step back, Green doing the same so as to not run into him. You'll have to get through me if you want to get to Green. Well, that makes our job easy. The man sneered. Is it just for the men? Scar watched as the men began to walk towards them. Should we run? Green asked Scar nervously. Running won't save you, YouTuber, the man stated from behind his little army of men. You've got a pearl, right? Scar asked. Baby? Screen replied, pulling out something from his pocket. Scar smiled, but before they could do anything, they heard the shattering of glass behind them as they looked back, seeing some new arrivals from the party. They were surrounded. You know you'll be full range of that helicopter if you throw those, the man warned coldly. Just surrender now, and it won't have to be so difficult for you. Scar hesitated, looking down at the pearl in his hand. An idea sprung into him. Glanced over at Green and whispered softly over their heads. Green nodded, seeming to understand, and they both tossed it over the men's heads, the pearl shattering in unison as they found themselves 20 feet or so away from the men. The roar of the copter was still evident. They both began to run, hearing the shouts from behind. Should we try to lose them? Green asked breathlessly as they ran. Keep them occupied, more like it. Get them going in circles, Scar admitted. Mumble probably doesn't want them to go too far for whatever he's planning to do. Right, but won't they figure that out? Green asked. It's a risk I'm willing to take, the YouTuber stated as he pushed onwards, turning another corner as he headed back the way they had come, hearing the men still pursuing them until he heard a click from above. Oh no. Sure enough, arrows began flying overhead as he pulled Green out of the wave of fire as they went in a different direction, as the machine kept firing, not relenting as he heard the men's footsteps fade before stopping, or seeming to stop. We can't outrun that thing, Green gasped as they kept running. We have to try, Scar insisted. I don't know, Green said nervously. I really don't know. Trust me, Scar said sincerely, pulling him out of another wave of arrows, pounding down just behind them. Swiftness potions would come in real handy right now, Green admitted as he stumbled. Scar nodded. They pressed forward until he saw something ahead. More mysterious men. They were trying to cut them off. Make a turn, Scar determined, as 2 of them turned once more, only to see more men chasing them the other way. Over here, a voice shouted to their left. Green over from their left as Scar glanced over to see familiar figures coming toward their way. Redubs, impulse, the YouTuber said in relief. They hadn't come alone either. He could see many people running over to them as they held up shields, shielding them from the incoming arrows. How do we destroy that thing? Green asked, slowing down once they were behind the other YouTubers. Fireworks, Impulse stated simply, as Scar watched a few people raise crossbows with fireworks loaded. Fire and take cover! Scar and Green ran behind some shrubbery as the fireworks were launched, hitting their target as a loud explosion rocked the earth beneath them, the roar ringing in their ears. Scar glanced over at Green, who was just as stunned. "Told you got this," Scar said with an amused smile. "Barely," Green agreed, taking a moment to catch his breath. "I kind of feel bad for anyone inside, though." "They attacked first. We only retaliated," Scar replied matter-of-factly. "They were only doing what they were told," he admitted quietly. Scar nodded, seeing his sadness as he put a hand on his shoulder. "We can do a little something for them after this if you want." "No, it's fine," Green said with a smile. "It's been a crazy night, that's all." "I couldn't agree more," Scar said with a smile, before he heard another shout of alarm. He looked up to see Mr. A's men coming in their direction, as various people attempted to prepare for an attack. Suddenly he noticed something not too far away. Someone. It was Mumbo. He made his eye on the YouTuber and gave him a subtle nod. He understood. He shouted at the top of his lungs one single warning. "To the sky!" Immediately, the YouTubers skyrocketed with their elytras, everyone positioned on the treetops gracefully as something was triggered below. Shouts and screams could be heard as explosions erupted from the ground. "Whoa," Paul stated in amazement. "Someone's trap worked." "That's right," Mumbo replied with a smile. Scar looked over at him. "You're great, all of you." "Is everyone okay?" B-Dubs asked out loud, once the roar of the explosion faded from their ears. Mr. A's men were nowhere to be seen, probably having run off to avoid getting blown to pieces. "I think so," someone said as Scar looked at all of his friends. "Should we regroup?" "I think it might be a good idea, Impulse stated. "We have to be careful, though." Everyone nodded as they all flew up into the sky and glided toward the meeting hall, Scar knowing it was probably the safest place they could be at the moment. He glanced back and spotted Green gliding behind, a knowing smile forming. So much had happened, and he hoped that they'd be able to get a good night's rest at last. But he could see the sun slowly begin to dawn, as that thought was stripped away. The men had stolen a good night's rest, but they had not made a dent on them. Chapter 9. It didn't take the group long to arrive at the meeting hall, flying into the building gracefully as they landed on the polished stone floor. Scar looked around at the group as the lights of the room were switched on. He blinked as he counted them. Many of his friends, along with their escorts, who seemed to have borrowed their backup wings to fly. Not every person in the cause liked the idea of flying, but a few seemed to have been taught by the hermits, which he appreciated. It would mean all of them would be more equipped to help one another out if needed. He watched as Impulse walked over and pressed a button, probably to signal a meeting, as more people arrived, almost instantly. The others would be here very soon. The YouTuber watched as the group began to disperse out into the room, into smaller groups, as small talk began to occur. He looked around the room, seeing people entering in from the front door. He noticed Devin running in. "You're okay!" Scar declared in relief as he ran over to his escort. "Of course. I want to make sure everyone knew what was going on," the man replied. "I'm glad you made it out unharmed." "Thanks to my friends," Scar said with a grin. "Almost everyone in here?" "Just about," the man nodded with a frown as he looked around the room, meeting his eyes on Green. "So there's going to be a bit of waiting left to do. We can't necessarily leave Green alone after what happened." "Do you think he'll come back? Or did you get him?" Scar asked. The man shook his head. "He slipped away during the chaos, which somewhat concerns me, as you can understand." "I do, but I think we can work with it," Scar said eagerly. "Green's already set up a few traps in his base. I'm sure we can help him get more secure." "I don't know," the man said slowly, as he went over to approach Green. "Hello." "Hey." Green replied with a polite smile. "Thanks for helping us out back there." "That's my job," the man chuckled. "I'm sure you know not everything's going to be back as it should be, seeing as you no longer have someone in the cause keeping an eye on you." "Right," Green nodded. "Definitely don't want to run into that same problem again." "I'm sure we can work something out," Sky interjected. "Maybe I could be of use?" Another voice interrupted as three of them looked over to see another individual in the clouds approach them. Aren't you meant to take charge of Exuma? Devin asked with a frown. I am, but that's the thing, the man replied. I haven't seen him all day. Only a note saying he went somewhere and that he would be back soon. It's suspiciously odd, Scar said. He thoughtfully. Did it say where he was going? No, the man replied as he shook his head. I was hoping you would have come back by now, but seeing as Grian needs a bit of a temporary assistance, I could do it until Exuma returns or someone can be found. Are you good with that? Devin asked, turning to face Grian. Yeah, Grian nodded quietly. I just need to warn you about a few traps first. Certainly, the man said with a chuckle. Scar nodded as the discussion moved elsewhere, still perplexed by what he'd just heard. Exuma had gone missing, but maybe not by Mr. A's men. They certainly wouldn't have been that elaborate. Something about it didn't seem to add up, but right now, he couldn't worry about that. They had successfully outsmarted Mr. A's men, yes. They probably would be back, but they would be ready for them when they did. They had a team that could work together, help each other, and do whatever needed to make sure everyone was safe. I'm going to do this to you. You know I am. This is the end of the story. I can't continue. Because literally, if I scroll down here, there's literally nothing here. I wouldn't have done that if there was something. You know that, right? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, story 3 will be out whenever I can get it written and recorded, pretty much. Then again, you probably wouldn't see any changes, especially if you're from the future and you just come over and just been listening to the whole thing as a binge watch, which I don't. I'm impressed with, because Clockwork Chronicles is a pretty big binge watch. I don't remember every little detail I've written in there. I know a little bit of the basis, but I always have to go back and just check over to make sure there isn't anything important that I need to put in there. But yeah. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave any thoughts, questions, theories, all that, whatnot, whatever might have happened to Exuma, you know? I mean, you could probably figure it out. Something has gone awry. Something has happened, but I'm not going to tell you what. Because only time will tell. And I guess that's going to be it for this video. I will see you in the next one, whenever that